All right, well, here's a few news stories that I noticed. So OpenAI is going to make a web browser to compete with Chrome. I'm not sure what the point is. The only thing they make normally is a search engine, really, is what their AI product is likely to compete as a search engine. But anyway, they're going to make, I guess they're going to build that search feature into their AI, into their browser. So we'll see how that goes. This is pretty amazing. Hey there. I don't know if you want to take all of them or just one. You leave them here, it might be easier for me to give them to the other people. Anyway, there was a satellite put up in the 70s, which was only supposed to last 5 or 10 years, and so it did, and then the batteries degraded. But then years later, one of the batteries started transmitting power again. No one knows why. And so it's still up there. It's a amateur radio repeater. And apparently people are still using it. OpenAI is probably doing it to get more data to ingest. Actually, that's a very good idea off track. That might be why they're doing it. And I haven't heard about Google trying to harvest the data from Chrome users, although that would seem like a good source of data. Anyway, so Musk is, as usual, full of disinformation and lies, and in particular, he's trying to pretend that the Kessler syndrome is not real. The Kessler syndrome, many people think, is already underway. The amount of junk in orbit is probably already more than we can tolerate. There are some interesting statistics here. Now the satellites have to adjust like 275 times a day to dodge junk. And the number of space debris objects is 30,000 for things larger than 10 centimeters, 670,000 larger than 1 centimeter, and 170 million for things larger than 1 millimeter. And since they're all moving at an incredible rate, they're dangerous like bullets. So anyway, the point is people worry that there's too many SpaceX satellites up there, and Musk wants to put up at least 10 times as many more, which is, I think, certainly going to happen. But it is actually a legitimate concern how much junk we're putting in space. Yes. Okay, good. And anyway, this is interesting. People who've had COVID presumably lose 3 points of IQ every time, or that's some kind of average. I know other people get brain fog that's much worse. So I'm not sure what to say about it. I got COVID several times. I haven't noticed being stupider, but it could happen. I don't know if I would know. The main thing I got out of this is a new explanation for why Trump won. But anyway, we'll see. Anyway, it's I think we really don't understand COVID very well at all. It seems to have an awful lot of strange effects on your body, and it seems to vary greatly from person to person. So DEF CON hackers have volunteered to help secure the water infrastructure. 6 sites have targeted out of 50,000 that need it, so we'll see what comes of this. It is a huge problem. This is why the Chinese are hacking into our critical infrastructure, and they will continue to do so for years to come because we have too much legacy infrastructure and it will cost too much to upgrade it all. Wonder how the research measures IQ dropped. Oh, I didn't read the details. I imagine they give people IQ tests, but what do I know? So Meta has removed 2 million accounts for pig butchering scams. There's a lot of these going on, so it's of some value anyway. There's a lot of these malicious activities based on fake social network profiles. This is an interesting technique. As you probably know, in the Philippines, murder is a way of life. The Duterte authorized murder of anybody, drug dealers, just by random citizens. He basically legalized murder in his time, something that Trump praised and said we should try here. And so now the vice president apparently had a beef with the president, so she announced that she had hired a contract killer to kill the president and his family if she dies. This is an interesting technique. I think Pence probably should have done the same thing. And it may be something for various people to consider, like, say, Mika and Joe Scarborough went and bent the knee to Trump and begged him to please not punish them. So did Jeff Bezos. All the people that have dared to speak against Trump are greatly afraid of retaliation, and this would be another possible way to deal with it. I'm pretty sure it's a crime to do here. It's might even be a crime in the Philippines. We'll see what happens. Anyway, this is what happens when your society becomes extremely corrupt. I wonder if this would work in Russia. I think it wouldn't, because Putin is constantly under attack and he hides from everybody. There's an incredible number of people constantly gunning for him. You can't do it. He certainly does push people out windows and blow up their airplanes and everything else all the time. But I don't think a threat of a random assassin coming after him would even be detected as noticeable compared to the number of people who want to kill him anyway. So the U.S. Department of Justice has recommended that Google be forced to sell Chrome and banned from re-entering the browser market, trying to break up the Google monopoly. I am surprised if there's any actual anti-monopoly against big tech that passes in America. I wonder if they failed to pay for enough lobbyists or something. We'll see. I would imagine. Well, this will be interesting to watch. It'll be interesting to see what a Trump administration does with this. I know when Microsoft is going to be broken up, the Republican administration went in and killed it because it was their pro-business agenda. Now, I do not think Trump is pro-business. I think he is a crony capitalist. He is pro anybody that bribes him. And so I don't think he would save Amazon because Jeff Bezos owned the Washington Post. I don't know if the leaders of Google have ingratiated themselves to Trump or not. I haven't noticed them taking a side in the issue, but that's what would determine it. Yeah, Trump could claim it's now part of his official duties. That's true. I mean, Trump is above the law. Now, explicitly in America, we have a king, essentially. By the way, Biden's a king. He's just not inclined to use his powers. And so Elon Musk is cyberbullying government employees. Certainly, as part of his ascent into political power, he's going to be able to punish government employees that don't do what he wants. He has a long history of bullying people. I remember the time there were some kids trapped in a cave in France, and he wanted to send a robot after them, and one of the firemen on the scene said, that won't work, so Trump said, well, you're a pedophile. And he was a huge problem for that, without any evidence, and that guy was in big trouble. Did the same thing to his his safety team. His safety team guy resigned and demanded his back pay and severance pay, so Trump accused him of being a pedophile, and he had to move out of his house and go on the run from, that was Musk, for the Musk supporters chasing him. So he'll fit in very well in the Trump administration. He's a very similar fellow, although I see reports that they're already breaking up. I mean, the point, I don't think two egos so large can so exist in the same environment. And Musk has problems acting subservient to a powerful person. Doesn't have that skill, and that is the skill you must have when dealing with a dictator like Trump. So presumably Trump will break up with him pretty soon, especially now that he's already donated money to his campaign. I think he doesn't really need Musk anymore, and I think Musk does not understand the transactional nature of the relationship. Everybody around Trump doesn't understand. He just uses people, burns them up and throws them away. The lawyers end up in jail or disbarred. Most of them end up in disgrace, and there's an endless chain of other people just volunteering to be next in a meat grinder. He's got some kind of hypnotic power where they think somehow they benefited from being next to him, and they'll be the special one, unlike the last 100 who sat there for a while and got thrown away like trash. So Baidu, I've heard a lot about this. Apparently Baidu has great electric cars, and we would all be a lot better off if we could import them. We could get cars for half the price, so they have to block them completely. And they say they even have robo-taxis for like $30,000. It's driverless cars that are apparently good. So it is a new thing in America, in my experience, for us to be blocking foreign products that are superior to us in technology. So we have to use the inferior stuff here. This is sort of like what the USSR used to do. This is not what I thought America was supposed to do. We're supposed to have the best stuff by not doing stupid things like this, but the world is changing. We're moving into isolationism like before World War II, where we pretend that we're alone in the world. I don't think it'll work out well. This one is mighty hard to believe. The stem cells, now there's infant stem cells from like umbilical cords who are completely flexible and can grow into any organ and anything because the whole baby grows out of them. And those are extremely useful in medicine. But there are also adult stem cells harvested from adult humans which are in fact rather limited and can only grow into certain cells. But apparently if they grow them in space, adult stem cells return to the condition where they can be used to grow more organs. So I wouldn't have thought gravity mattered that much, but apparently it's true. At least one report says this. It's certainly something that has to be verified. This would be the first really important reason to grow something valuable in space. Anyway, all right. I think I'll skip that one. Let me stop the recording.